right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Engage to Elevate podcast with our superstars. And so I get to be here with my friend and sister national sales director, Brittany Jenks. Good morning. Well, we're doing this in the morning. You guys are probably watching it whenever. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? This is so fun. So I would love for those of you who don't know you, right? Because if we're in different seminars or we have new consultants on here, even though you are a Mary Kay superstar, would
Yeah.
you please give us a synopsis of your journey in Mary Kay? How did you get started? What did it look like when you started? It's you have a very everyone has a fun story, but go ahead and share with us what you want to share.
Yeah. So I started 18 years ago. And at that time, I was a full-time college student and I was working three part-time jobs. I was really busy, had my foot in the door with my degree, and that was broadcasting. So I worked at the number one country radio station in Columbus, Ohio. And
I
yeah,
knew that, but I forgot that.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. In radio.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You know, the goal was TV, but I met my Mary Kay director before that happened, and it was so much better. And I'm so glad that God had His hand all over it. And so I was actually in Bed Bath and Beyond. It was right before Christmas. My grandma wanted pillowcases for a guest bedroom. And it was this light blue color that was really hard to match. And so I had her paint swatch.
Oh
And
my
I
goodness.
was walking around and I went, my about sixth store, I think, was Bed Bath and Beyond. And I've never stepped foot in a Bed Bath and Beyond in my life at this point. Okay. So I walk into Bed Bath and Beyond and I'm matching and I'm frustrated at this point because now I'm already running late on getting this Christmas gift shipped to Arizona. I couldn't find the color that I wanted. And then this woman comes walking around the corner and she's like, and acts like she knows me and I do not know her. And I'm like, okay. But she engages in great conversation with me and asked me if I wanted a free facial. And I was in college, so my favorite word was free. So I said yes. And I gave her my name, gave her my phone number. And she was so smart because she booked me on the spot.
Mm,
Actually, she said, what's your schedule look like? Because she could tell I was really busy. So I was going to struggle to figure out a time that would work because I was
yeah.
managing the radio station on campus at that point. So I ran 3 staff meetings a week. I was commuting to and from college 45 minutes each way. I was involved in my church. I was just really involved at that point. So she thought, I'm going to book her now. And I am so glad she did because the truth is, Heidi, and not a lot of people know this, but a few years prior to that, I was warm chattered one other time.
Yeah.
And the girl did everything correctly. She really did. She left me voicemail. She called 3 times. She really did it all. But I was so busy and she didn't book me on the spot. And,
Interesting.
and so, but
How
Rochelle did.
smart.
Yeah. So she booked me right there for that next Thursday. I'll never forget. And I tried the product and come to find out I was actually already on the product and I didn't really know it. We didn't have a consultant. So I wasn't using it and it was my mom's girl and she was just ordering it. And so I used Velocity back then. And so Rochelle sat down with me and I did my facial and I'll never forget, I fell in love with the product that I wasn't already on. I spent, as a college student who was kind of broke, but I feel like we all can find money if we need it. I spent $150 at that facial. Rochelle told me nothing about the product, not because she didn't want to, but because at that point I was talking about a boy I really liked. And so she just really poured into the relationship piece of it and must have read my personality. And so then we fast forward, I couldn't go to meetings on Monday nights for my first 12 weeks because I was also a pitching instructor. I played softball in college.
That's right. Yeah.
Hurt my arm at that point. So I couldn't pitch anymore, but I could give instructions. So people purchased packages and those packages were like 12-week out packages.
Yeah.
So I told her, I was like, I can't come on Monday nights. And y'all, in college, I was making $30 an hour to do those pitching lessons. That's some good money. And I got to schedule them around my life. Like I chose
Yeah.
when I did them through an organization, of course. But I went to my boss the day I joined. I said, listen, do not book me on Monday nights anymore because I'm going to that meeting. Now there was $0 for sure being made at that meeting. Right. And I knew I could make a couple hundred doing pitching instructions, but I knew that this business was incredible and that if I worked it, it could be my future. So I saw.
So what made you, so when you had the facial with Rochelle, what made you sign your agreement? Because you said you were talking about your boyfriend. So what made you become a consultant from that appointment?
I think I wanted to be like her. I jokingly say she had a free car. She had a beautiful home. Her hot husband came walking down the stairs, and I thought to myself, "Is this a package deal? Because if so, I can do this." Like
I'm in. I'm in.
and at that
Nice
time,
house, free car, hot husband. Sign me up.
give it to me. And so, but
And
at
you
the
ended up getting that, by the way. P.S.
I know. Is that not God just works full circle in so many ways? So, I joined and I didn't wear makeup. I mean, I did not wear makeup and I was not girly really because I played softball.
I need to see pictures of you. I need to see pictures of
Uh,
Brittany Jock. Okay, because
uh,
I don't, y'all don't believe it, right? Look at her. She's so glamorous all the time. Okay, okay, go
yeah.
ahead.
I promise it was true. When I was younger, I wanted to be a boy. Like not in the sense of being a boy, actually, but like I wore baseball hats. I had a bowl cut because I didn't want to take care of my hair. I didn't want to brush. I didn't want to braid it. I didn't want no makeup. And I had a huge gap in my front two teeth. I was so tomboy. I played t-ball and was on the All-Stars. I was like one of two girls on the All-Star team. So I like wanted to play with the boys. That's just how I rolled. So anyway, but I decided to say yes to this. And then I couldn't attend for those first 12 weeks. Well, I started to attend and I thought I'm going to really like if I'm spending my time doing these meetings that I could be making hundreds of dollars,
Right.
I'm bringing guests and I'm taking this seriously. So I
Ah.
brought guests to those meetings. The first month I went to a meeting, I brought enough guests to where I had nine, no, that's not right. Six women joined my team and all of them started as star consultants. So I did double car production my first month attending meetings and went on target for the car. I had no idea what I was doing, y'all. None, zero. I mean, I knew nothing. I just knew the way that Mary Kay filled my cup, I wanted other women to have. And I knew that this was so special. So then Rochelle says, go to seminar. And I was like, all right. And I was broke. I mean, I was making great money, but you have a lot of expenses. And I drove 45 minutes to and from school. My parents never paid for my cell phone, never paid for anything. I was responsible for all of it.
You were fighting to pay your bills as a college student.
Yes. Yes. And so I decided to go to seminar. And I remember thinking to myself, what are you doing? I was 21, jumping on a plane for the first time. Like
Wow.
you're crazy. I don't think it was my first time, but I think by myself, it was
Yeah.
definitely my first time traveling by myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've lost it. But then I said I would go. I'm a woman of my word. When I commit, I do not quit. And so I went. And I got there and I'm thinking to myself, okay, these women are real. I needed almost like a confirmation that I wasn't crazy.
Yeah. 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 Right. Definitely.
And so then I remember I have always wanted it all. I've grown up in a church. I've grown up with a relationship with the Lord. I wanted to make really great money because I'm super expensive.
You knew that at a young age. Yeah. My sister, Nikki Brittany, is the same way. She knew at a young age, she had rich girlfriends. We did not grow up with money, but all of her friends were rich. And she's just like, I'm going to have money someday. I'm going to figure it out because I have expensive tastes.
Yes, that's me. That
Yeah.
is me. I'm thinking to myself, like, I've got to figure out how to make money. And so my options were either hit the lottery, which I didn't play the lottery, so that wasn't going to work, or marry rich. And I love Jacob, but he is not rich and he was not rich when I so that was out the window very quickly. And we didn't get married till I was 27. So that was a big gap of supporting myself, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I went to that event and I'll never forget thinking, because in the broadcasting industry, I haven't worked them all. I haven't worked at Christian radio stations, but it was dog eat dog. I mean, it was just not uplifting, not encouraging, everything I knew I didn't want. So here I was working this corporate job that everyone said I was supposed to strive towards, and I was miserable. And I thought to myself, I don't want to do this for 30 years. This is horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had already got in so far that I
Yeah.
thought to myself, how do you say like, oh, well, this is my degree, but
Yeah.
so I went to that event. I went to seminar. I'll never forget. I saw Kathy Halou walk out on stage and she was handed a 14 million, I think. It was somewhere high millions, 14, 13, 15, I don't know, something like that, dollar plaque where she had made that many millions in her Mary Kay
Yeah.
career. And then she spoke and it was like going to a sermon where you heard scripture. And I'm like, oh my good golly, this is exactly what I've been looking for.
Mm.
I've wanted the faith portion. I've wanted kiddos and she had two girls and I
Right.
knew that and she spoke of them and her, I don't know, all of it. I just wanted all of it. And that for me was when I thought I'm going all out and I don't care what people think anymore.
Ugh, and I don't care what people think anymore. You know, Brittany, I think we all, even, I'm just going to be honest here, even sometimes as a national sales director, if I'm in my office and not out among people, and inactivity breeds what negativity,
Mhm.
right? So you guys, it can happen at any stage where I'm like, is this really noble? Should I, maybe I'm not really, I could be doing something else in ministry. My husband's a pastor. There's so many things. Is selling makeup noble? Right. And so going to events, right, like you did, and being around those higher level people where you're like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Like these women could do anything. They
Right.
could do anything because of the gifts and abilities God has given them. And yet they choose to use their gifts in Mary Kay.
Mhm.
And so I think sometimes, like you said, you needed to be around those people to what make it okay almost for you to say, with me, with my degree and where I'm at and my age, that I can go after this full force and not be guilty about it. I mean, is that a thing or?
For sure, for sure. And I always wanted a marketplace type ministry
Ah, yeah,
because I realized that I could probably lead a women's organization at a church or do
yeah,
something along those lines, but that it would be hitting the women who were usually already believers. And I felt like God wanted to use me to impact houses, women going through the same phases and stages. And also, to be quite frank, I loved in the beginning when I was 21 and young and dumb. I mean, to be honest, I was pretty immature. Because you're 21, you don't know it
yeah,
all. I
yeah,
loved going into those homes and clinging to the moms because I wasn't a mom and clinging
yeah.
to the grandmas who wanted to mentor me too, because I love to learn from a mentor versus mistake. And Mary Kay,
Hmm.
I saw that. I mean, I have from the other national sales directors, and even when I was a director and not at the position of national sales director, I've learned parenting better than I did in my church.
Yeah,
I learned personalities. I've learned how to be a mom, a wife in Mary Kay because of the faith-based portion of it. I feel like almost better than my church because the thinking is business plus, well, God
yeah,
first and business and your
yeah.
family all combined, and it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for saying that. A marketplace ministry. We're both reading the same book together. What is it called? Entrepreneur, Supernatural.
Supernatural business.
Supernatural business. And he talks about in this book about, obviously he's a businessman
Right.
who is a Christian and marketplace ministry. And thank you for saying that, Brittany. I needed to hear that today.
Good.
I
Oh,
needed to be reminded of that because that's exactly how God uses us. My husband's a pastor and he has said in the past, Heidi tells more people about Jesus in her business than I do from the pulpit.
yes.
So thank you. And I love what you said. You love to learn from mentors versus mistakes. That's
Hmm.
so wise, right? We don't have to make all of our own mistakes to gain wisdom. We
Right.
can learn it from other people. And so God certainly gave you wisdom at a young age to learn that. Wow. So Brittany, you're known. One of the I was thinking about, what is Brittany Jenks known for? Oh, and PS, you guys, Brittany's pregnant with baby number 4. And we were just having a conversation before you all came on about how her children, she has 3 older children, and now she's gonna have the baby, and the baby's gonna be about 7 years younger than the third. And that's my situation. And so isn't that so fun that we get to have that in common? And I remember when Kristen Sharp had her last baby in her early 40s, she reached out to me. She's like, "Hi, Nate. Is it okay? How'd you do?" Because I had my baby at 39, and you're gonna be 39 having your baby. And so,
I'll be 40. I'll be 40. I turn 40 Sunday.
what?
So
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. You'll be 40, and it's fabulous. Look at her, you guys. Look at her. And so God
uh,
is so good to that He put us together, because I was so worried about being an old mom. I was so worried. And what's funny is that as I am an older mom, now I don't care.
Right.
Like, oh,
Wiser. We're wiser, right? We know. And I
right.
feel like this one, I'll be like, okay, I know what I need. I know what I don't need. I know what's important. I know what's not important. I won't make those same
It's
mistakes.
actually simpler. And by the time your youngest gets into high school, I was always worried about that. Like, what's going to happen when I'm in high school and I look like the grandmas? First of all, I don't. I don't look
Yes,
like the
Mary
grandmas.
Kay.
Okay. And secondly, it's like, I don't care. I don't care. So, okay. So you're known in the Mary Kay world, Brittany, as for your hard work. You said that in the beginning, like you do have work ethic and your dedication to your priorities.
Yeah.
I think that's how I think of you. It's like you work hard and you figure out how to truly keep God first, family second, career third. You honor your husband. I got to meet him and spend some time with you guys on the trip this past year. He's an amazing man. Like not
Incredible.
just through the social media and the videos I've seen that you guys have done together, but in person, he's humble.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge for us, Christopher and me. There's a lot of people who maybe are just like know-it-alls. Jake is not that.
No, yeah,
He's the real deal. He's the
he's
real deal.
special. He's so
And so,
special.
I mean, seriously, to see you guys and to see you honoring each other in your marriage and with your children. Okay, but you're uber successful. And what I want people to hear, because this week in our Engaged to Elevate, Brittany, we are talking about working full circle, right? And
Mm,
you already mentioned full circle in the story that you talked about. But in order, I think, to be successful in our life and in our career, working full circle is so important, right? So that we're not working so hard, we're working smart.
right.
And so I would love to know is how do you keep building your business full circle? Because you do work virtually and in person and
Mm.
still be the Christian wife and mom that you want to be. So can you take us there?
First of all, I want to absorb that because having just, sometimes as top leaders, we don't hear people say those kinds of things about us. And so when you are saying those words to me, because you're someone who I look up to tremendously, Heidi, I'm like, oh, I just want to observe that. I'm glad that's what others see about me. You never know. And so thank you for those words. I think that success isn't balance, it's alignment,
Mm.
right? Like, so in everything I do, of course, I honor my relationship with the Lord, God first, family second, career third. And when I found the Mary Kay opportunity, I was so excited because I'd never heard it said like that before, nor had I seen it walked out like that before. And so I love that my faith can fuel me in my Mary Kay business. And I can biblically say that I'm working as if I'm working for the Lord, right? Because that's what he calls all of us to do. That my family then grounds me in all that I do because kids are kids. I mean, let's just be honest. Our kids are just hilarious. And I feel like they have no idea that I drive a pink Escalade and that's so rare. They
Right.
just, oh, there's
Yeah.
mom pink cards,
Sure.
normal life. And we do normal, right? And then my work, I feel like expands me, right? So faith fuels me, family grounds me, and my work expands me. And I want to give 100% to every one of those categories. And quite frankly, when I was working my broadcasting job, I didn't have time to
Mm.
do the 100% in the faith and the family portion. I would have only had 100% to give to the work portion. And
Right.
I knew that wasn't the alignment because I feel like success isn't balance, it's alignment. And Mary Kay allows for us to work 100% when we're working and to be
Mm.
100% with our family when we're with our family. So for me, it just looks like I look at my schedule and I decide when do I want to give that 100% to my family? And for me, I don't want to miss anything. Games, I don't want to miss the important things. So we have those conversations. And when I do walk away from my kids, like tonight, I'm going to an event an hour and a half away from me. I looked at Kinley Grace, my 9-year-old who's almost 10. I said, hey, mommy's going to go change lives tonight.
Oh,
She knows every time, and so do all of my girls. She just is a little bit more vocal about these things. That anytime I go to an event, that we are changing life. So it's not mommy has to go work, mom,
oh,
it's mommy's going to go
yeah.
change life. And I relate that back. So how I relate that back, Heidi, is I say, how we get to go to a private Christian school? How mommy gets to drive this beautiful car? How mommy gets to be at at every game. And I tell them, my mom was amazing. She was a hardworking single mom. My mom couldn't. My mom had to arrange the rides for me to get to the practice. My mom had to arrange the rides for the game. I was constantly with Terry Wolf, who was one of my best friend's moms who stayed at home. And so I didn't have my mom taking me to all these
Mm.
things. So I share that with my kids openly. Mommy's going to go change lives and give other mommies this opportunity too. Mhm.
Um, I love this. Your faith fuels you, your family grounds you, and your work expands you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stealing that. Stealing that.
For
So
sure.
true. And I love that you tell your daughters, mommy's going to go change lives tonight. And Brittany, so many people come into Mary Kay or they don't come into Mary Kay because they say, I'm 100% girl. And if I can't give it 100% right now, then I'm just not going to join. And you just overcame that objection, right?
Yeah, I'm 100% in each category. So,
Yeah.
and then I shut down the other categories because if I am giving 50% to one, I don't feel good. That's when mom guilt kicks in or work guilt
Yes.
kicks in because it's like, oh, shoot, I answered that text and I didn't proofread it or I didn't give all the response. I just half did that. And I want to make sure I'm full 100% with everything that I'm doing.
Wow.
And I think
Yeah.
God gives us that ability too. And Mary Kay, especially because it is flexible. So I've
Yeah,
loved.
to be all in. And someone once told me on a plane, we meet the most interesting people when we travel, right? If we simply ask questions.
Uh,
And she said to me, I try to keep my head where my feet are. I try to keep my head where my feet are. So if you're at the soccer game, you are at the soccer game. You're at the Mary Kay event, you are at the Mary Kay event. So when you go to your Mary Kay event tonight, what does full circle look like to you? How would you describe that? If we're talking about this word, and I think Kathy Halou or Pam Shaw, they actually coined that term full circle. I think it was Pam Shaw because she really was in the beginning of her career like just graduated from college, working full time, having all the things. So she had to work smart. So what does that look like to you? And what would you say to the people watching this about full circle success?
Yeah. So for me, when I go to the event, I'm pouring into the women, first of all. I want to be a light that shines, right? We want to be different. We're called to be different. And I want people, the guests there, to think, I wonder what makes her so different and special. And so how I do that is engaging in relationship, looking eye to eye. I set my phone down and I'm fully 100% present. And I think we all could learn from that, right? Even me sometimes. And so I'm 100% present. Now, talking about working in person and virtual, the consultants I'm going to visit, I worked virtually with them mainly. And then I go pop in once a month or once a quarter. They're more local. So, like, I just got back from Boston visiting one of my offspring sales directors in her area there. And that's about once a year, twice a year, I see her. But
Mhm.
everyone who's in person with us that's a guest, we will put the products on their faces, obviously work the party itself full circle, but then we invite them onto virtual sessions from there as well. So it's beautiful because as a mama, a lot of times I'm going to the volleyball game, but I'm coming straight home and then I'm getting my face ready to do an online session that only takes me an hour, but we reach the masses in that way. So
Yeah.
while tonight, I'll have 20 or 30 in this room. Those 20 or 30 can lead us to hundreds of women, to thousands of women virtually. So it full circle works because I mentioned the virtual plus I'm there in person.
Mm. And so I love that because I just had that happen to me. Well, I worked that, a couple of weeks ago. I invited a person to an in-person event that my daughter Carson and I were doing. And then she booked her second appointment virtually. And so she could have family and friends across the country be a part of that. Whatever that looks like to you guys, whether it's Facebook parties, whether it's Zoom parties, whether it is webinar parties, all of the different things that we can do. And in those appointments, Brittany, I'm assuming you do the same things, right? You
Oh,
you
yeah.
they try the product, that you ask them for referrals, you share the opportunity, right? What does that look like?
Same thing. It is that. So when COVID happened and Lindsay and I were forced to go into virtual world Mary Kay, we literally took everything we did in person. And it was like, how do we translate this to a screen? So we just transferred everything we were doing in person to being on a screen. And it didn't matter to us, the platform, whether it was Zoom, whether it was Facebook Live. Like you said, we just wanted to make sure our main thing was women need to try this product, and we wanted to figure out how that was going to happen and how we were going to reach the masses with it before they buy this product. And nothing happens until someone sells something. So that was our basis of this Mary Kay business virtually, was doing it exactly the same way. And it's worked beautifully for us. And are there ebbs and flows? Yes. I mean, are there times where our numbers, when we started, no, COVID was full force.
Right.
No one had anything to
They had
do.
nothing else to do. Right.
We would have 300, 400 people on a Tuesday night live a piece.
Yeah.
So I was doing mine separate from Lindsay, and we would have 600 faces we saw in one night.
Wow.
And now I'll say, I'm so glad God blessed us. It was a window. God knew that we needed to finish that national area to be a light. And so I know it was him. He finished our national area. He did all of the work. There are too many miracles that happened for it to be anything I did. But even the idea of taking what we did in person and putting it into virtual was all him too. And so we now might, have lower attendance than ever, but never in the history of Mary Kay in person for me personally was I in front of our low attendance now is like 64. Never was I in person on a weekly basis with
Right.
64 people. So
Right. Yeah, right. Perspective, right? It's like, okay, might not be the same numbers that were in 2020, but thank you, Lord, for the number of people that you get to be in front of to do that and doing the same thing, you guys. And so that's what I wanted you to see today is that, Brittany, God gave you, like you said, He gave you and Lindsay, your amazing $1 million offspring sales director, the energy, the brain power, it took a lot to make, how do we do this? How do we do this? And you guys, Brittany was a $1 million sales director in the COVID, and then became a national sales director. And so, and it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see that you can do both and. And I love that you talk about that, right? That you were, going back to the beginning of our conversation, you were talked to in a warm chatter by someone who was out there making people feel important and feeling special. She facialed you. You wanted her world. You wanted what she had, and you went to seminar and were willing to do, figure it out and go to those success nights and bring guests and see how you could work this in your schedule. And, saying that your faith fuels you, your family grows you, and your work expands you, and that you go out there and you change lives. That's what mommy goes out to do with your passion and with your purpose. And so, this has been just an enlightening, you said, I don't know if you said the word, but that's the word that I'm going with. This has been an enlightening and encouraging conversation for me today. So even if no one watches this, which I know they will, but even if nobody watches this, Brittany, thank you. Thank you for pouring into me and reminding me that the marketplace ministry is where God has called us to be, and that we can embrace that and live for him, right? So if you were to give any parting words to the people who are watching this, the consultants and the directors who so desperately want to have more from their business and to give more, what would you say?
yeah, so I was listening to Craig Groeschel say habits create desire. And I look back on my career thus far, and I think to myself, everyone saw the spotlight of 2020 and virtual Brittany, because then I could be broadcasted across, the country.
Yeah.
But they didn't see me going and doing 30 faces every single month leading up to, I think that was year 15 when all of the virtual COVID stuff happened. And habits create the desire, you guys. So when I think of that, I think, if I brush my teeth morning and night, which I think everyone probably does, all of a sudden, if you don't brush your teeth and you're laying in bed and you're like, oh, shoot, it's like a desire to go brush your teeth because you've created the habit around doing it. So my 30 faces in 30 days consistently that I did month in and month out for 15 years are what created the desire to continue working my business and also create the desire within me to keep doing 30 faces in 30 days, because I know what it's created. And in the beginning, when you're working on creating a habit, it's not as fun. You are learning. You're seeing things incorrectly. You're learning
Yeah.
how to communicate with people and small talk, and it's not comfortable. But then afterwards, it creates a desire in you to keep doing the 30 faces because you see the results, you see the lives change, you see the baptisms happening, you see women coming to you and saying, "You're a light, you're just different." And I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't so many years ago."
Yeah.
I had to learn that. And so I want to ask everyone listening, what habits could you prayerfully? I mean, I'm in my prayer journal. I know you are too, Heidi, and in the Bible every day, writing down, praying to God, because this is our fourth pregnancy and I will be 40, for energy and strength that doesn't make sense,
Right.
and not,
Supernatural. Yeah.
yes, supernatural energy. But what habits could you create yourself that are going to then instill the desire inside of you to want to do the thing consistently? We think it's the other way around. But
Yeah.
let's not get confused.
Yeah.
Desire doesn't always create habits. Habits create then the desire.
I love it. Guys, I did not pay her to say this. I did not coach her. This was not planned and this was not scripted in any way. But that's exactly what we've been talking about, right, Brittany? Because there's nothing new. This is what creates success inside and outside of Mary Kay. We just said last week that action precedes motivation. And you said habits create desire. It's the same thing. We're talking about 30 faces a month, that it is not hard. We need to stop saying that that's hard. We need to stop thinking that's hard. That can be done in a day. That can be done in one virtual appointment if that's what you want to do. Or that can be done in 5 parties of 6 people. However you want to work, you guys, it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it needs to, if we want the results, you heard what she said, 15 years before that. Yeah, you're right. It was so funny. Who's Brittany Jenks? Who's Brittany Jenks? Who's this
Right.
superstar? Well, she's the person who put in 15 years of power starts before this all exploded. And so thank you. Thank you for being willing to work when people didn't know your name. Thank you for
Mhm.
being willing to work and serve God when no one else knew about it. And thank you for being willing to keep going when a lot of people quit so that you could be the light for each and every one of us here. So I'm praying for you, sister, that the Lord gives you that supernatural energy and continuation to be the amazing wife, mom, and leader that you are. I love you and thank you.
Love you.